What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Game Developers Conference 2014. We've decided to hold it in this office this year. Very excited. Very excited. We're here, Giant Bomb. We've got a room full of people here. These guys are actually, they got real quiet all of a sudden. We're here on the couch.
You can keep talking.
Yeah, you keep talking. In fact, we actually have set up a camera shot and a separate audience microphone there. So if you hear some bullshit happening up here,
Kessler,
you
don't
can
talk
come
into
up
that
here
microphone.
and you know.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Go. You work for us now.
Hello. What you guys want on your sandwiches?
Get the fuck away from the microphone, Matt Kessler. God damn it, man. And we got Windjammers going to the back. I don't know. There's all we got all kinds of stuff going on. So, Vinny has cut himself open.
Jake, that's why you don't have a beer, because the bottle shattered and cut Vinny's finger
Jake is
open.
hooking up his computer. We're gonna get a look at Galaxy in a little bit here. We also have Chris Charla here from Microsoft. How you doing, sir?
Doing well.
Great.
I'm extremely tired.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It was a late night. I saw you leaving the thing I was at, and I was like, I should do that too. And then I ended up there for like 2 more hours.
My first meeting was at like 7:30.
Oh, that's terrible.
Poor planning.
Yes,
That's terrible. That's terrible. So you run ID at Xbox.
Yep.
It's the independent developer program. Is it a program?
Yeah,
Is it an initiative? How do you think of it?
It's the self-publishing program for independent developers for Xbox One.
Yeah. And you had an event. You finally started showing off like
Yeah, it was
games.
rad.
It was like,
So on
here's a big pile of games.
we went to Microsoft's loft space in San Francisco, which I didn't even know Microsoft had a loft space in San Francisco.
Yeah,
but
they have this it's a long-term
it's super
lease.
cool.
It's like right around the corner from our office.
Yeah,
so when I
and
have
it's
to-
got like these laser etched like Xbox logos everywhere. And anyways, we showed the first 25 games that are coming through the program. So it was a super cool event, a lot of press, a lot of developers. It was super fun.
It was when we showed up. It was filled to capacity. We
We actually had journalists waiting outside in line, which felt.
I saw you kicking out Microsoft people.
Yeah,
Will
we threw
Tuttle
out
and stuff
a lot
like,
of
"Get out,
Microsoft
get
people.
out."
Just
I walked in and they said, "Actually, we messed up. You need to leave." Like we miscounted.
Well, I guess it's a good thing to have. People
Microsoft
wanting
takes
to come see
fire
your
codes
stuff.
very seriously.
Someone has to.
Yeah.
Someone has to. But that's not very. That's not something an independent developer would do. When you think indie, I think about buildings filled beyond the fire code. So.
Well, we were
Living
all
on the edge.
Wild Rumpus too, so we got to experience both sides of that.
Yeah, I got to see it both ends. So this first pile of games, like super diverse.
Yeah.
How long has it been? How long have you been out there, like trying to secure games?
So we announced the program on August 20th last year, and started to getting applications that night, and gotten thousands and thousands of people interested in the program so far. Tons and tons of developers with dev kits, and but Tuesday was the first day we actually like got to show games, and it's been pretty cool. We've gotten builds and everything like that, but most of what we've been doing, like the team's just been like furiously emailing, furiously having meetings inside at Microsoft, like working to scale the program and everything like that, and to kind of walk in there and be like, holy shit, look at all these video games, like this is real. Like it was actually pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's great. So, what's been the pitch when it comes to? I mean, people are applying to you. Like, what are the criteria for someone who wants to be a part of this program?
Yeah, I mean, it's really simple. People go to xbox.com/ID, they apply, we send them 2 dev kits at no charge. They get access to Unity at no charge, which is obviously a pretty popular game-making engine. And then when they get ready to want to do a game, they send us like a submission form. We check to make sure it's not like super inappropriate. And then we sign a publishing contract.
What about my hentai game? You never got back to me about
Yeah,
it.
we'll talk.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right.
Just call it something else.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Anyway, they sign a contract and they get a publishing slot, and then when they're ready to publish, they publish. And then, they're the publisher, so they're responsible for getting ratings and that kind of thing. And then as a platform holder, what we really look at our job is doing is just kind of amplifying the efforts they're doing. So like that kind of effort, or getting guys on our Xbox blog and tweeting and stuff like that. And it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, back at launch, it hasn't really come up too much, I guess, since, but like there's this whole notion that like every Xbox One's going to be able to be kind of rebooted in dev kit mode or something like that. You're sending people dev kits now because that stuff's not available.
That's exactly
but
right.
At some point, is it just like you fill out the form and then it turns on and you can go ahead and make your game? Or?
Yep, we've said that every Xbox will be able to become a dev kit, and that's still the plan.
Cool. All right. I was going to ask you what your favorite game was, but I can't ask you to play favorites. You're not going to do that.
Like,
You're not going to do that.
I had to take some kind of VIP on a tour, and he was like, just show me, I don't have a lot of time, like show me the 3 games. I was like, okay, we'll start like a Super Time Force, and I get all geeked out over Super Time Force,
Yeah.
and then it's like, and then the next one, and then the next one, and he's like, "You're showing me every game," and I was like, "Yeah, I kind of am."
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, you were there. Like, it was like a, I don't know, it's online someplace.
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
super diverse like group of games, and so.
I came away from that because seeing him tweet about it in the run-up to this event and kind of as they kind of started working on it, for me it was IDARB. That was the thing. Seeing Micah out there kind of saying like, I got this red box, so I don't know what's going to happen after this. It's the craziest story in the world.
The fact that Mike started the game by like literally tweeting a red rectangle and saying, "What should this red rectangle do?" And I talked to him, and he's like, "I thought people were going to tell me, and it was going to end up being like a really soulful platformer, and like it's ended up being like an 8-player simultaneous crazy town esport."
Sports. We were talking like this needs a genre now.
Yeah.
This needs a proper
Yeah,
short.
between like this and video ball and
Sports
like,
Friends.
Yeah, sports friends. Like we call them minimalist esports,
Minimalist
which is the
esports.
worst description ever.
Minimalist
so,
esport. I don't
Min esports?
I think because there's some element of like the local multiplayer world that like the stuff that doesn't necessarily resemble sports but is very competitive,
Yeah.
something like Samurai Gun or something like that. Like I feel like that fits.
yeah, it's all
into
there. So there's
that,
something.
and it's-
Somebody needs to talk to Doug Wilson and have him, right?
Come up with a proper term.
Like, yeah, like he's got a PhD. Like he can
like
figure
really
this
sit
out.
here and think about this stuff. Minimalist esports.
Think about it.
Can't, yeah, we're gonna.
Yeah, minimalist esports is the worst name for a genre ever.
What if we just called it V Sports
I like it.
and it was just video
V-sports?
sport? I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah. I thought that esports should have been called V Sports to begin with, virtual sports.
this is your chance.
Yeah, it's way more cyber
we can
future.
get that
It's like
in.
dark cyber future that I'm pushing
Small
for
V.
at all times. Yeah, small V, capital the rest of it, not even the S, just like. But I don't know what font it should be in. I'm struggling with that one.
I'll
But
go with Helvetica for now.
it's always a good
yeah,
baseline starter. Is move to Helvetica, go to Helvetica, and move from there. So. What's GDC like for you? Are you out there kind of just seeing more games, trying to round up more stuff?
Yeah, so just I started GDC by putting all the conference sessions that I wanted to go to in my calendar and saying like these aren't moving under any circumstances. The Robotron postmortem, the Zork postmortem, a bunch of other ones. And then I finished GDC by having back-to-back meetings in the lobby of the Intercontinental and like only when meetings get canceled, just like book over and check out like the mega booth or
Yeah. It's kind of been the same way for me. It's always like, okay, it was actually the exact same. It's like, really want to see this Zork thing, really need to see this Robotron thing. But at least I was at DICE, so I got to kind of see Eugene Jarvis, get his due there and stuff. So I didn't make it to any of the panels here.
It'll be on the vault.
But yeah, it'll be on the vault. So you can check that stuff out later. So you're out there meeting with more developers, trying to round up more stuff. What's the reaction been to the program so far? People
Super
like super
positive.
psyched?
Yeah, we've had a lot of meetings with developers who maybe haven't worked with Microsoft before or worked with Microsoft a long time ago, and they come in like, we've got a lot of questions, and they start asking questions, and we're like, just here's some dev kits, ship your game, and it's like, really? Like, yeah, it's like it's almost boring. You know what I mean? Like it's almost not boring isn't the right word. Very simple to describe the process, and so they have a lot of meetings that are scheduled for like an hour, and like 25 minutes in, we're just like talking about like 3DS or something because like the work part of the meeting.
How has the street passing been?
Street passing has been excellent.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, my battery's dead right now, so I haven't done any street passing.
This would have been prime puzzle piece collecting
Dude,
time.
I've got 'em all.
I screwed it
Yeah,
up.
at some point you're finished with it, and that's
No, I'm behind, but I just screwed up and I keep leaving it at my
I'm
hotel.
way behind too.
I'm all about Warrior's Way now. I got every puzzle piece in Japan at Bit Summit, so now I'm.
Awesome. So overall vibe, you guys like it was something coming out of DICE talking to people about like kind of how stuff's going. Industry's kind of up and down. How do you feel?
Super positive. Like I've been coming to GDC for forever, and 2008, 2009, like GDC was like a lot of long faces. The guys were like, maybe we're gonna make phone games. I don't know, and like this GDC. I mean, you probably see it. This GDC is like.
I feel like Jake was maybe there going, we're gonna maybe make this into a phone game.
Like this GDC, like everybody's like upbeat. There's like too many cool games to see. Like everybody's like having fun. Like
It's a really good time for games.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
There's certainly a lot in flux. Like you see a lot of layoffs happening in like AAA. Like it's always changing, and there are plenty of negative trends. But like in terms of like accessibility for developers, in terms of publishing, or like like the lowering of tools in order to just make games. Like it is only getting easier. Doesn't mean you're going to be successful. Like it's probably even harder to be a hit, but it's easier to make stuff.
It's getting, and Jake can probably talk about this too. It's getting so much easier to take the vision in your head for the game you want and just like get it on screen without like, you know, a bunch of technology getting in the way, which is kind of rad. And you know, yeah, tons more games than ever. Like I don't think it's never going to be easy to make a hit game like at all. But like the problem set's changed from like I just can't realize my vision to like I just need to make sure everybody sees my vision and hopefully my vision resonates.
I was talking to Widow last night. I think he said like we're finally at this point now where it is a lot like film, where you've got the gigantic Hollywood blockbusters and then the kind of indie darling critical favorites and that sort of stuff. That like that middle tier that used to exist last generation, the generation before that, from the the THQs of the world, the Midways of the world, and stuff like that. Those games that just kind of went away.
But now
you're getting all these rad
cool,
smaller games instead.
Games. And we were talking about the fact that we're starting to see like scenes spring up. You know, like an Austin scene. There's kind of like a little bit of an LA scene. San Francisco, Seattle, obviously.
There's a lot. There's a ton of developers in Seattle. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but these geographies are starting to get like like almost to the point where you can be like, okay, that's an LA game. That's a Seattle game, and it feels really cool.
But more people need logos. I feel like Oakland's the only.
Have you seen
I've
the
seen
Oakland logo?
Yeah. Wait, Oakland has a logo.
IDARB on boot up and a couple of them as made in Oakland.
No way.
We need to make that a thing.
Oh, that's amazing.
That needs to be a thing.
Seattle.
That's amazing.
There needs to be a proper like made in Seattle, a good like made in Chicago, and then we can just get basketball jerseys printed up, and everyone can represent their home colors.
We can have gang fights.
Total gang fights.
Like Oakland style, right?
Yeah. Well, certain parts. I mean, Oakland's actually pretty nice. Everyone is fleeing the city.
It's too expensive in San Francisco,
here, so everyone's moving
going
to Oakland. Oakland's getting. You're an East Bay guy.
Yeah.
How do you feel about what's happening in Oakland these days?
I actually was in my old neighborhood in Oakland a couple weeks ago, and all this stuff about Oakland's getting super trendy and fancy has not dribbled down to High Street and Foothill yet.
All right.
But yeah, it is getting super fancy, like Temescal and Baja, Rockridge or whatever. Like it is like feels like Brooklyn. So if I moved back right now, I think I'd go to Hayward.
Yeah, Hayward
keep
seems
it real.
Yeah, Hayward, you can definitely keep it real. I don't know. I know some people that are living in like Hayward Hills and all this stupid crap. And
all right, San Leandro. San Leandro Flats. That's.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm North Bay. I'm representing Petaluma. We don't even have public transit. You got to drive in, or I mean, you can take a bus.
Lexus.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Sold a company. It went okay. What are you gonna do? Well, I don't want to keep you. I know everyone is super busy, and you've got some plans. But thank you so much for carving out some time for us. It was great talking to you.
Cool. Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys do from here. It just seems
cool.
like
Me too.
Everyone's super excited. So
yeah, there's like we showed 25 things. There's like hundreds more coming, so I'm excited for the future.
I'm going to call it 24 things because I don't count Dive Kick as a real game.
Fair enough.
Yeah. You're a journalist.
I'm a journalist, so Dive Kick's not a real game.
Report the facts.
Yeah, the facts. All right.
Follow the flash.
Yeah.
Hashtag follow the flash.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Chris, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks a lot.
We'll, is Vinny back in the control room?
Yeah, he's there.
Okay. We'll let Chris take off, and then we'll talk to Jake some more.
Cool.
And Jake's laptop.
Watch Jake stress out over this laptop.
Fucking first time, black screen every time. What does that mean? I don't know. It means no Galaxy is what it means.
It'll work.
Just thanks for coming, man.
Like, what does a black screen mean?
Are you booting it with the HDMI plugged in?
No, I unplugged everything. Because something's shitting the bed, so I unplugged everything. It
definitely is.
It's just like, hey.
No, he's restarted like 8 times.
Maybe 10. Yeah, I mean, it's up there. Nothing. You work at Microsoft. Fix it.
Yeah, Microsoft
come on,
deploy.
Microsoft guy, work your magic.
They teach you all, right?
Did you put Linux on this? I would turn it all the way off and leave it off for a little while.
I think I did.
Let me ask you this: is the build portable? Would it run on another machine?
Yeah.
Like we have a PC right there.
But I can't get the build off.
Like you were able to boot it in safe mode. You could get it like from USB.
Actually,
if you care enough.
If I boot it into safe mode again.
I know it's kind of some hassle, but we could do it.
No.
Why don't we just chat? We can if you got places to be,
I don't. I mean, this is important. I'm going to give it one more try. You're right. Safe mode. I can boot the game, and then the game asks me what I want to run it in. So I will just. You
can throw it on a USB and just. I mean, we have a nice. Great machine over here.
We're debugging this stuff.
Yeah.
This is live.
Yeah. This
game
is live.
development
environment.
In the trenches.
Yeah.
Most websites like, oh, we'll come back.
Like,
no, we'll figure this out.
We're right here. We are right fucking here.
And no Charla's commitment here. He has not left the set.
He saw a Windows issue and is
ID Xbox in action.
This thing has been
for not
around even though it weighs 500
pounds.
Just
point this out, Jake. I don't see anyone from Sony here helping you with your fucking problem.
It's true.
Shit.
Kessler's over there drinking. What is going on?
We are warping developer relations. This is called developer relations.
Yeah, this is real developer relations right here.
Chris and I go way back. We are also drinking buddies. We found a new barcade really close to my house, so that's a lovely place to go join.
Those are really becoming a thing. There's a ton of them in Chicago too.
Yeah.
Cool. Say again.
Barcades.
Dude, it's the greatest. And they're all like the fake, like MAME-laden things. Like everyone's just playing arcade games like crazy.
So you're saying it's super illegal then? Nice.
Probably. Yeah. It's trashy. It's like there's no decoration. It's only cans of beer.
It's also in a bar that used to be pirate themed, so it's
right next door to another bar that is pirate themed.
Yeah, there used to be a pirate themed bar.
There used to be two pirate themed bars.
And then now there's just a pirate themed bar and a video game bar, like in a pirate ship.
Yeah.
Like it's.
I mean, you kind of have to see it to believe.
Well, if it's in a pirate ship, then it makes sense that they would just be all MAME cabinets.
Well, the best part is you walk in, this first part, not the barcade part, it's like this cafe, right? It's like this breakfast cafe, and then you just keep walking like you're going back to the bathroom, and you're like, I'm in a pirate ship, and you look below your feet, and there's like big goldfish swimming underneath you.
Yeah, like there's a goldfish pond in the floor.
And it's just like themed Disneyland all of a sudden, and they're like, what can I get you to drink? Because I got those crazy tater tots and like
best tater tots in Seattle.
Awesome.
And Seattle has the best tater tots in the nation.
All right, that's a bold claim. I don't know, like they're.
It can stand up.
Best tater tots in the nation in Seattle. All right, we're gonna have to go on tour.
Yeah.
On
we should probably go check it out. I think you guys would like it.
Seriously, PAX.
Yeah, that's. I will.
Take you there.
Yes, I will absolutely go.
Take a video camera.
We'll take a video camera to this
to validate
supposed tater tot.
Megan Scavio can back this up.
She's been there. Yep. Yeah. And Karen, who is now working for you at Microsoft, that freaked me out today. I was like, what are you doing here? You don't work in games. She's like, I build databases. I'm like, what? You do? She's like, I'm building databases in Microsoft now. So that was cool. Our other friend that's also a local, whose son, or her daughter goes to my son's kindergarten.
So how's the show been going for you?
Pretty rad. Galaxy's on the show floor.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of it today.
Playable for the first time.
I saw John Vignacchi playing it today. He was terrible at it.
There's no sound, which is kind of a bummer because it's obviously a very nice sounding game.
Yeah.
But the response has been great. It's been a great show. A lot of cool new tech.
And you guys just made some like big changes to the design, or at least talking publicly about it.
Yeah,
now, right?
well, it's a pretty recent change. We switched to a fully roguelike game in the vein of Spelunky and all these other games that are, people are enjoying so much right now. It's funny how it got there. Like, I was really fighting back against it for a long time, even though we were doing all these things that were very roguelike-like. Mm-hmm. And like including our engine and how we were building content, like to speed up some of the level design processes, we built this tool to help me kind of author rooms and place nodes for stuff. And as I'm cranking out all this stuff, I'm like, wow, this is like, because there's like these blueprints that you build, I was like, we could stack these. And so I was like, well, we could maybe do like this roguelike thing where you go into this warp hole or something and it turns into a roguelike and you have like this daily challenge sort of thing on top of the scripted stuff. And the more we started kind of noodling around and just like playing with the combat, like every time, we even had this one room, like for the first year and a half of the game, we had one level that we had hand tuned. But the way that the patrols move around organically and kind of like they'll coincide with each other and merge back apart, like it was always a different experience every time you played it. And because it's such a physics-driven sort of experience and the combat's very organic and sort of melts all over the place, it was just a different game every time we played. And I was like, this game is not about like exploring, this piece of ground, like Super Metroid style bombing every corner. It's about these fluid, amazing combat experiences. And so we could build, like, we could do this thing. We could go with the roguelike thing, and I had all these things I was kind of struggling with, and I was like, let's just clear our heads and let's try this one time. So we'll do this roguelike thing. Let's go through this in our minds, and it solved every single problem I had been fighting for like months, and I was just like, that's it. And then it worked, and now we played every day, and it's awesome.
So it's instead of like just building all the scripting, now you're just kind of like building behaviors and all this other stuff.
Well, I mean, I'm still designing patrols and stuff, and I design these rooms, and they got pinch points and all this sort of stuff. But the way that they are kind of scoped together in these different zones, and then like that's procedurally generated every time, so it's a different level every time. And even though I built every like square inch of it, I never know what I'm getting into. I'm constantly exploring anyway. I don't know. It's really cool, and we're got about 5 or 6 more big kind of systems to get finished implementing. And it'll be coming soon, so we're going to be launching late this summer, probably.
Oh, wow. You guys announced a Vita version? Am I
We just announced a Vita version.
Nice.
Yep.
Okay.
That'll probably be a little bit later. We're a very small team, and this is coming in real hot. So I think, in fact, because it's digital and we can just sort of upload new versions of the game, we can kind of keep pumping out content. Even though it's not going to be early access by any means, it's going to be a complete product. We are going to be kind of dumping in new content updates and some of the multiplayer stuff like that. Shout out, Chris.
About your computer. I think your hard drive's messed up.
Uh-oh.
It's not loading some Windows files, and that's why I was going black before. Because
I see. It was not loading the required files.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Bye, Chris.
Bye, guys. Thanks.
See ya.
Anyways, yes, the roguelike stuff is coming along, and it's just become fantastic. I was really looking forward to sharing it with you guys today, but
Yeah, I wanted to see
Hard
it.
drive.
Yeah.
this computer has been all over the world. It's been in a backpack, bumping around parties. It's fought the good fight. It really has. I mean, I appreciate
Laptop's seen some things.
It's seen some
It just
shit.
decided when it got to Giant Bomb, I've had
Hey,
it
this
now.
isn't
Like,
important.
look, man, no.
Just gave
No
up the
one's
ghost.
watching this stupid thing anyway. It's fine. Now's the perfect time to shit the bed completely.
It's it's been like one of those really cool changes, like as kind of games have changed a little bit, where you have a lot of that. I mean, obviously this laptop not working, but it's been like man with a laptop and a video game and a dream, and seeing those sorts of demos, like kind of as teams have changed, team sizes have changed and stuff like that. It's been
Like we were talking about
super
earlier,
rad.
just the scope of everything has changed so much. There's so many tools available now. Like when I saw, was it yesterday they announced that Unity was down to like $19 a month or something?
That's
Unity 4.
Unreal.
Or Unreal, sorry.
Unreal 4
And I
is,
think
yeah.
CryEngine
Unreal, yeah.
now is like kind of matching some of that stuff.
And
So-
I was like, I thought it was a typo. I was like, what? What? Like
Right.
everybody can just use this amazing tool set, and
$20 a month.
I mean, sure,
crazy.
there's a long learning curve, and there's
Yeah.
lots of stuff, but there's a huge active community. There's all kinds of forums and like massive help community. You know, everyone's using these same tools, and they're trying to accomplish the same sort of things. And it's like, dude, there's never been a better time to make video games, especially as a small hobbyist. You know, there's so many platforms, there's so many directions to go.
And you have made much larger games in the past. Like, you know, you were at Sega for a good long time, and you did work on Rez and stuff like that. So like it's not necessarily the largest team in the world, I guess, but like that's a much different way to make games, right? What's like the biggest difference for you from those days to what's now?
I mean, obviously being the boss is the first time I've ever been the boss. That's nice, you know.
That's a pretty big change.
But it's the speed. You can turn around things, right? Instead of like kind of coming up with an idea and having another meeting and calling this other group in and having them get approval from upstairs, and then that goes to the other office, and it's just like, hey, I have this idea. Like that day, I was like, you know what? I'm tired of like struggling with all these weird kind of pseudo roguelike elements that we're like trying to design and figure out and mesh together. It's like, let's just go roguelike. And everyone looked at me like, what? I was like, let's just do it. Let's try it. I mean, like, I'm not committing to anything. We don't have to, like, you know, it's not going to slow us down or anything like that. Let's just plug it in and see what happens. And we just play test it, and everyone's like, this is great. I was like, yeah, I know. Okay, cool, let's do it. Done. Like, that's it, you know?
How big is your team?
8 full-time, and then we've got a couple contractors.
Are you all in one location, or are you spread out a bit?
All the full-timers are in one location, and we really like it when the contractors come in. It's
Because
really
they've got a
much
strip
easier.
club next door.
Well,
I
there is a
assume
strip
that's
club.
why the contractors love it.
Yeah, but we've, you know, we get to see those girls in the daytime smoking out there.
I see.
When you're in
It kind of kills the dream a bit.
your last place got flooded, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and then
It
you
was in the same building, but yeah, that was terrifying.
like was that during Skulls?
It was during Skulls. It was a regular weeknight. We were working late, and I'm on my computer, and it started raining in my office. And I was like, what? Like I totally took it. I was just like, wait, like something's... And I looked up, and it was just like pissing water everywhere, yeah. Grabbed the computers, like started grabbing books and everything, just like ran outside. Ran next door, these guys make t-shirts, and they had a bunch of garbage bags. I was like, I need garbage bags. Like, what? I was just like, give me the fucking garbage bags. Ran back in, put garbage bags over the, you know, all the computers and stuff, and over the, you know, the heater, and like every piece of electronics, laptops and magazines, and I have this crazy book collection from, you know, Japanese manga stuff, and like all this weird shit I've found all over the world, and like that stuff's priceless to me.
Yeah.
I mean, sure it's insured, but like I can't ever go get this stuff
Right.
again.
Where, you know,
Right?
you end up eBaying a bunch of stuff, and there's no fun in that anymore.
no.
It's the story of acquiring it all,
Yeah,
right?
but that's indie, right? I mean, I think the what was that sweet new procedurally generated?
No Man's Sky?
Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
one.
they
Those
got-
guys got rained
They
out
got,
too.
they got bones.
It's tough. I mean,
And,
like,
and they had no, like, they had flood insurance, but not like
Like, it didn't
right-
cover it.
It didn't cover
Yeah.
because So they bought flood insurance, but because they lived in a like noted flood area, that flood insurance did not cover.
Oh, that's excellent.
It was a different kind of flood insurance you needed for a place that is marked as flash flooding. Their flood insurance was like the scam for places that never flood.
Dude. Yeah. And I'm sure they were not clear and upfront about that in the beginning at all.
Yeah.
No, it's same deal with earthquake insurance around here. Like you can get it, don't, but you can totally get it. Yeah.
So I gotta say, today was a big day. I got to see the Project Morpheus for the first time.
Okay.
Very cool. We've got two Oculus
We tried
Rift.
it also, yeah.
We got two Oculus Rift dev kits at the office, and it's super awesome. I'm super excited about the future of VR. I think this stuff has been a long time coming. It's finally here. It's like right on the verge. The Rift stuff, you know, you can get pretty sick in it pretty quickly. The Morpheus definitely, I think the new Oculus Rift Crystal Cove stuff is the same way, but like, you know, it does the head tracking and stuff.
Right.
So I noticed I didn't get sick. I was noodling around for quite a while in there.
I was whipping my head, because I have a dev kit at home for the Oculus, and you get nauseous pretty quickly in a lot of games. I was talking to a guy who's done a bunch of Rift dev stuff, and he's like, if you can make your game 60 frames a second, that solves a lot of the issues with the current dev kit. But yeah, like I was whipping my head around in the Morpheus thing, and just not a single issue.
It's way more comfortable. I haven't tried the Crystal Cove kit, but the Morpheus head unit is way more comfortable.
Yeah, the resolution's nice. I mean, you can still kind of see the pixels, but it's like you know, way tighter.
Do you know what the res is?
I think it's 1980 by 1080, but it's like 1080 by
It's like
900 something
960
per
by
eye.
1082 screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like the Rift guys were talking about like trying to put an OLED screen in like their next one, like which would be
At some
an
point,
OLED screen like that close to your face.
Right. Yeah. I don't like. At some point, it just becomes like, can they make these things
Right.
for the right amount of money for people to actually buy them, or are they just going to be hobbyist devices?
So
you know.
I came out of that demo all like, sweet, that was awesome. Like I was super looking forward to this. I was super excited about it. And then my friend Andrew Kelly, who's like a PR guy there at Sony, he, I saw somebody tweeting about the eye tracking thing somewhere, and I was like, what the hell is that? Like you can play Infamous with like the eye tracking thing?
Oh, right.
So I asked Andrew, I was like, do you know about this? He's like, yeah, it's right back here. And so he took me back there. I was with Corey Schmitz, the guy who does our logos. He's a
He does everyone's logos, as far as I can tell
because
right
he's
now.
awesome. Anyways, he took us back there, and they have Infamous Second Son set up, and there's like this little camera. It looks kind of like a PlayStation camera or whatever. It's this little yellow camera, and you can see your face in there, and like immediately, you're like, it's got like a really high-res shot of your eyes, basically. You can see what it's looking at, and each pupil has a little tracking mark on it. And he's like, all right, cool. So we kind of calibrated. I looked at the thing a couple times, and then you just jump into playing Second Son.
Yeah.
And you just look around, and the camera moves to focus at whatever you look at. Like whatever little thing you look at, it's just like, boo, boo, boo. And he's like, yeah, just try moving around. So I was just, it took me a couple minutes to kind of figure it out, but basically you can just hold up on the D-pad, and you just look around the environment. You just scan the environment, and he just clambers everywhere you go. And it's the most natural thing.
Like it works?
It's insane. I mean, it works so good. I was just like, what is this? Like,
So you don't even need to use your thumb to control the
don't
camera
even
anymore?
use the thumbstick. I'm not a big fan of third-person action games
Weird.
because I hate fighting against the camera all the time.
Yeah.
This is so natural. It's uncanny. It's crazy. I mean, literally, this is like some of the most crazy tech I've ever seen in my whole life. I was flickering out. I saw Garnett was playing Galaxy.
Yeah.
I ran out and grabbed him. I was like, you got to see this, man. He came in. He was like, oh my God, you're right.
Stop playing my game. Come look at this.
But like,
they
you
have a
look
name
at
for
anything.
that?
Like, you imagine just like looking at anything in the room, and you could pull the trigger, and he like just shoots at like whatever it is. I mean, it's so fast and it's so natural. You're just using your eyes and just like running around the environment.
That almost sounds more
It feels like
interesting
you're walking
than
or
the VR
running or
stuff.
something.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, I feel like if they could merge the two, some crazy shit would go down.
Right.
But this was like immediately applicable. This was like, I mean, it was working on the Second Son. It could work with any third-person action game. I think it's gonna be like massive. I mean, literally, we were all just like giddy. I was like, this is like one of the biggest leaps in technology I've ever seen. Like, you're so used to using your eyes, man. Like, it's so natural. It's so easy to do, and this is just like it plugs in. Exactly. I was kind of freaking out on the guy. I was like, dude, this is crazy. Like, this is amazing. And he's just like, I know, it's really cool, right?
Calm down, man. Calm down. Like,
He's like,
no,
sometimes
you
it
don't
doesn't work. I'm like,
fucking
but
understand.
it worked the whole time I did it, and I was just running around and just like. It's like running in the street because your brain is like literally operating the same way. You're like looking for a clear path, and he's just going, and I'm just holding up, going, this is insane. This is insane.
And I wonder what they do with that, right? Like, because they haven't really said what they're going to do with Project Morpheus yet. Like, is that like a Natal where we're here a year from now and it's like an actual proper project name and like what's going to happen? Like, they're showing this eye recognition stuff. Like, how much is this just them showing like, hey, here's like the labs, and we're just going to show you every once in a while, like something we're working on, and maybe it gets enough excitement, and then maybe then they figure out how they commercialize it. But even if it's just showing like, here's wacky stuff we're working on, like, I love seeing it. Even if it never becomes a product, like at least like kind of giving people an understanding of like, what their internal process is and some of the cool stuff that maybe makes no sense commercially, but is made anyway. I think
the
really
VR stuff. I mean, when we got the Rift in, and the first Rift kit is cool, and like it obviously shows you what the potential is, but it's kind of heavy, and there's a strange moo ear kind of guy. It's limited, but even with that, when I first played Half-Life 2 on the Rift, it was my game of the year. Like, it just blew my head off. Like, it's such a different experience because normally, when you're looking at a screen, it's like 120 degrees or whatever, and like, everything's kind of skewed to get more data on the screen for the player. So you can parse more data because, your vision is a little bit tighter. So they're getting like all this stuff on a monitor screen. But when you jump into the Rift and everything, it's tuned to your eyes. It's right at like the 90 degrees, whatever that your eyes are at. So everything looks real. And for the first time, scale reads really true in video games. And it's stunning. I mean, like, I remember we were playing Half-Life 2 and then Left 4 Dead 2. And I was just walking around the coach. He was just sitting there with the gun, like looking around, talking. And I'm like walking around, just like wanting to touch him because he's just like standing. He's like this man standing in front of me. And like that was one of the craziest things. And then the car demo and the Unreal thing was just a car. And I was like walking around it going, this is crazy.
I had when I did use the 1080 Rift at E3 last year with that UE4 demo, and all the geometry has like a tangible look to it. It's like it feels like you could grab it. Like,
that was the thing about the Morpheus demos is one of them was the Deep, and it's like you're in a diving cage and you're going down, and a shark eventually attacks it. Cool. You have a flare gun that you can you're holding the DualShock 4. And all you're doing is pulling the trigger because the camera's picking up the light off the controller and going that way. So you can turn it like that, shoot your gun sideways, which is very cool. And it's a quick little demo. The shark eventually attacks the cage and stuff like that. But for me, the coolest thing was you look down and you have a fucking body, and you bend your knees and he fucking crouches.
Wow.
And it was this thing of like, I'm doing this and I'm looking at this body and it's like, this looks right. It only breaks when I said oh right, but what about my left hand? And then you see his hand staying at your side like,
But the right hand is moving around.
Yeah, the right hand's moving around.
You get the controller and you move.
Left hand is just locked. Huh. Left hand is just like this the whole time. So 2 move controllers, or Rift and 2 Razor Hydras.
Did you see some of like the prototypes they showed from the panel of like when they were developing Morpheus, where it's they have like these like real handmade VR sets, and they've got move controllers taped to the left and right.
Sure.
Like as ways of adding extra dimensionality to stuff like that.
Yeah.
So just duct tape the move controller to your hands.
Yeah. It's exciting that they're just like that stuff is like becoming like, I mean, it started out in such like a hacky way with stuff like that where people are just like, after the first Rift kit came out, people were like, well, I'm gonna strap a camera to it so that it can see the world and start tracking this stuff, and like the treadmill that people are running on, like all the different applications and all the different things that people are trying.
There's a lab in Seattle that has I think they're using the Rift, but they've got a gun that like has a wire hooked up to it. I'm not doing a very good job of explaining this, but basically it's got a real world avatar representing in the game. Yeah. So you can use the gun as a physics object. So you can like use the gun to like knock stuff off a table. Like it's a direct interaction. So you're feeling it and you got your hand on everything, but it's literally interacting with the game world.
That's weird.
So you're able to come in and like knock over a box and like smash a guy in the face and shoot him, and like all of a sudden just all these barriers are disappearing, right? Like you're just using straight instinct and sort of reaction time.
Yeah. Brad Muir. We should probably take a break. I know you got places you got to be on.
I have a dead computer to attend to here.
I'm going to
go throw this off a bridge.
Just, you know what? If you actually just dump it in the toilet.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we'll flush it down.
I'm saying Viking funeral for this thing.
Do you want to light it on fire and like put it in a trash can?
No, I'm going to try to fix it.
Okay, all right.
It was expensive.
Last year it was a pie. This year it's a laptop.
Yeah. All right. Well, Jake, thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me, guys. Good to see you.
I took some time. I actually did spend some time looking at Galaxy. I'm going to head back tomorrow and play it. Finally, I haven't actually played it yet, so I'm going to get back over there and try it.
August?
August probably.
August?
Late summer, maybe a little after that. We'll see.
Awesome.
I would love you to try to get our hands on this, so I'm going to try to break this thing up.
Well, we'll do it another time. We got time.
Another time.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, dude.
All right, and in the meantime, we're going to take a break and rotate some people around. We got quite a number of people have showed up here. Everybody's drinking, so...
Alexis, there's a mic you can talk into if you want to yell at us.
You can talk into the mic. Talking to the audience mic.
Man, look at that shot.
That's beautiful.
They're like foreground.
It's like a documentary.
That is incredible.
Yeah. All right, well, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be back momentarily.